The pregnancy test sat on the bathroom counter like a tiny bomb. 2 pink lines. Clear as day. I stared at it for what felt like hours, my hands shaking so hard I had to grip the sink to stay upright. I was 31 years old. Married for 4 years. We talked about kids. We'd planned for this. So why did I feel like I was about to deliver the worst news of someone's life? Maybe it was the way Weston had been acting lately. The late nights at the office. The phone turned face down on the dinner table. The way he'd stopped reaching for me in bed, stopped asking about my day, stopped looking at me like I mattered. But I pushed those thoughts away. A baby changes everything, right? A baby brings people back together. A baby makes you remember why you fell in love in the first place. God, I was so stupid. I found him in the living room, tie loosened, scrolling through his phone with that blank expression he always wore around me now. The TV was on but he wasn't watching it. He never really watched anything anymore. He was always somewhere else even when he was right there. Weston, I said. My voice came out smaller than I intended. I need to tell you something. He didn't look up. Can it wait? I've got an early meeting tomorrow. No. It can't wait. Something in my tone made him finally raise his eyes. They were cold. When did his eyes get so cold? I'm pregnant. For a moment, nothing. Just silence. The TV kept playing some commercial about fabric softener. A woman laughing, children running through a field. The universe's cruel sense of humor. Then his face changed. Not joy. Not surprise. Not even shock. Terror. Pure animal terror. He stood up so fast the coffee table shook. What? I'm pregnant. We're going to have a... No. He ran both hands through his hair the way he did when a deal was falling apart. No, no, no. This can't be happening. My heart started pounding. Weston, what are you? You ruined everything. His voice cracked. Everything I've been working toward. Everything I've been planning. You destroyed it all. I felt like I'd been slapped. What are you talking about? We talked about having kids. You said. That was before. He was pacing now, wild-eyed. That was when I thought. He stopped himself. When you thought what? He looked at me then. Really looked at me. And I saw something in his face that made my blood turn to ice. I don't want this child, he said. Each word deliberate. Final. I'm not even sure I'm the father. The room tilted. My ears started ringing. What did you just say to me? You heard me. His voice was flat now. Detached. You're home alone all day. I'm at work. Who knows what you do with your time? I couldn't breathe. 4 years of marriage. 4 years of loyalty, of loving him, of building a life together. And this is what he thought of me. Get out, I whispered. What? Get out of my sight. Now. He laughed. Actually laughed. Your sight. This is my house, Natalie. My name on the deed. Or did you forget that too? I hadn't forgotten. How could I? He'd made sure I knew it. Made sure I understood that when I quit my job to support his career, to manage his home, to be the perfect corporate wife, I'd given up my independence. My safety net. Fine, I said. Then I'll leave. No. Something flickered across his face. Panic maybe. You're not going anywhere pregnant. People will talk. They'll ask questions. I don't care what people think. Well, I do. He grabbed his coat from the chair. I'm leaving. I need to think. I need to figure out what to do about this mess. This mess. He called our baby a mess. He walked to the door then paused. Didn't turn around. She's pregnant too, you know. Melissa. My colleague. The one you were always so jealous of for no reason. Now he looked back. His smile was cruel. 3 months along. And I know for sure that one's mine. Then he left. I stood there in our living room, his living room, and felt my entire world collapse. The worst part. I heard his car start. Heard him drive away. And I knew in that moment he wasn't coming back. Not tonight. Maybe not ever. I was wrong about one thing though. He did come back. Years later. When karma finally caught up with him. And when he did, I made sure he regretted every single second of it. This is that story. Before we continue, please write in the comment which country you are watching this video. We love knowing where our global family is tuning in from. And if this is your first time on this channel, please subscribe. Your support helps us bring even more epic revenge tales of life. Enjoy listening. The next morning I woke up on the couch. My neck ached. My eyes were swollen from crying. And for just a few seconds I forgot. Then I remembered and the pain came crashing back like a wave. I checked my phone. No calls. No texts. Nothing. But there was a missed call from my mother-in-law, Brenda. 3 missed calls actually. And a voicemail. My hands shook as I pressed play. Natalie. Her voice was ice. Weston told us everything. I'm calling to say that we support our son 100%. What you did, trying to trap him with a baby when he's finally found real happiness, is despicable. Don't bother reaching out to us. We won't be taking your calls. I played it again. Then again. Trying to make sense of the words. Trap him? He was my husband. We were married. How is having a baby with your husband a trap? But I knew the answer. Weston had spun it. Had gotten to them first. Had painted me as the villain. I called his mother back anyway. She answered on the first ring. Brenda, please just listen to me. I have nothing to say to you. He's lying. He's been having an affair. My son would never cheat. But even if he found comfort elsewhere, I wouldn't blame him. You've been cold to him for months. He told us everything. Cold? I've done nothing but support him. Support him. She laughed. A sharp, bitter sound. You quit your little job and became a burden. And now you're trying to saddle him with a child to keep him tied to you. It's transparent, Natalie. And it's pathetic. My little job. I'd been a graphic designer. A good one. I'd quit because Weston said it would help his career if I could attend company events, host dinners, be available. He'd said we were a team. I'm pregnant with your son's child, I said. Your grandchild. If it's even his. Her voice dripped with poison. Weston has doubts. And frankly, so do I. You always seemed like the type. The type. The type to spread your legs for anyone who'd pay you attention. Now that Weston sees through you, you're desperate. Well, it won't work. Find another fool to support your bastard. She hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, trying to process what had just happened. This was Brenda. The woman who'd hugged me at our wedding and called me daughter. The woman I'd spent Christmases with, birthdays with. The woman I'd brought flowers to in the hospital when she had her hip surgery. And she just called me a whore. I tried Weston's father next. He didn't answer. Just texted back, "Don't contact this family again." That's when it hit me. I was alone. Weston had poisoned them against me. Had crafted a story where he was the victim and I was the villain. And they'd believed him without question, without even hearing my side. I thought about calling my own parents. But they were gone. Mom died from cancer when I was 23. Dad followed 2 years later, heart attack. No siblings. My closest friend, Rachel, had moved to Seattle last year for work. We texted sometimes, but we drifted. I had no one. Just me and this tiny cluster of cells growing inside me. This baby that had somehow destroyed my entire life in one night. I cried until I had nothing left. The first month was the hardest. Weston didn't come back. Didn't call. His lawyer sent divorce papers. The house was in his name like he'd reminded me. I had 30 days to vacate. I had no job. No income. About $8,000 in our joint account, which his lawyer informed me I could keep as a gesture of goodwill. Cool. $8,000 for 4 years of my life. I moved into a studio apartment in the bad part of town. The kind of place with flickering hallway lights and neighbors who screamed at each other at 3 in the morning. It was all I could afford. I applied for jobs. Any jobs. But I'd been out of the workforce for 2 years. My skills were outdated. And I was pregnant, which employers aren't supposed to discriminate against, but they do. They always do. I saw Weston once during those months. At the grocery store. He was with her. Melissa. She was beautiful. 26, blonde, tall. Everything I wasn't. And yes, pregnant. Very obviously pregnant. She wore it like an accessory. A cute little bump under a designer maternity dress. She laughed at something Weston said, touching his arm. He looked at her the way he used to look at me. A lifetime ago. I turned my card around and left without buying anything. Went home and cried for 3 hours. The second month I found work. Waitressing at a diner. The pay was terrible. My feet swelled. Morning sickness made me throw up in the bathroom between tables. But I needed the money. The other waitresses were kind. Especially Linda, this older woman with gray hair and kind eyes who'd been working there for 20 years. She saw me struggling and took me under her wing. You got nobody? She asked one day during our break. I shook my head. Baby's father? Gone. She nodded like she understood everything. Men are trash, honey. But babies? Babies are miracles. You're gonna be okay. I wanted to believe her. The third month I got a lawyer. Free legal aid. A tired woman named Denise who handled 30 cases at once. She told me the truth straight. Weston had money for good lawyers. I didn't. The best I could hope for was child support. Does he dispute paternity? She asked. Yes. She sighed. Then we'll need a test after the baby's born. Don't worry. Deanie doesn't lie. But I did worry. What if he fought it? What if he dragged it out? What if he made my life hell for years? The fourth month I learned Weston married Melissa. Quickie wedding. His parents threw them a party. I saw pictures on social media before I finally blocked everyone. They looked happy. Genuinely happy. And I was alone in a studio apartment working double shifts while my body grew and changed and my baby kicked and moved inside me. The fifth month was when something inside me changed. I was tired of crying. Tired of feeling sorry for myself. Tired of being the victim in this story. I started planning. Not revenge, not yet. First, I needed to survive. I needed to build a life for my child. I needed to become someone again, not just the woman Weston had thrown away. I enrolled in online classes. Web design had evolved since I'd worked in the field, but I could catch up. I studied after my shifts, exhausted, my back aching, but I studied. Linda helped watch my expenses, taught me to budget. I saved every penny. The sixth month I got promoted. Not much, just to senior waitress, but it came with a tiny raise. Every dollar mattered. I stopped thinking about Weston. Stopped caring what he was doing. He was dead to me. A ghost from another life. The seventh month my baby moved constantly. Strong kicks like she was ready to fight the world. I say she because I knew. Somehow I just knew. I talked to her at night. Told her stories. Promised her I'd give her a good life. Promised her she'd never doubt she was loved and wanted. The eighth month was hard physically. My body was exhausted. But mentally I was stronger than I'd ever been. The ninth month I prepared. Washed tiny clothes. Set up a bassinet in the corner of my studio. Read every parenting book I could find at the library. And I waited. She came 2 weeks early. December 15th at 4 in the morning. I woke up to pain like nothing I'd ever felt. Linda drove me to the hospital. Stayed with me through the whole thing because I had no one else. 14 hours of labor. 14 hours of pain and fear and exhaustion. Then she was here. Maya rose. 6 pounds 8 ounces. Perfect. She had dark hair and tiny fingers, and when they put her on my chest, she looked at me with these wide, serious eyes, and my entire world shifted. This was mine. This perfect, beautiful creature was mine. And Weston had thrown her away before she even existed. His loss. His tragedy. Not mine. I stayed in the hospital for 2 days. Linda visited every day, bringing me real food because hospital food was terrible. On the third day, as I was getting ready to leave, a nurse brought in paperwork. We need father's information for the birth certificate. I hesitated. Then I wrote his name. Weston Andrew Thorne. Listed his address, his phone number. Will he be signing? She asked. No, I said. He's denying paternity. We'll need a DNA test. He gave me a sympathetic look. I'd seen that look a lot lately. 2 weeks later, a court order came through. Weston had to submit to DNA testing. He fought it. Of course he did. But the law was clear. He had to comply. The results came back 6 weeks after Maya was born. 99.97% probability of paternity. Weston Andrew Thorne was confirmed as the father. Denise, my lawyer, called me with the news. Now we go for child support. He'll have to pay. The court will make him. Good, I said. And I meant it. Not because I needed his money, though I did. But because I wanted him to face reality. Wanted him to know he couldn't just walk away without consequences. The court ordered him to pay $800 a month. It wasn't much, not for a man with his salary. But it was something. He missed the first payment. His lawyer claimed it was an administrative error. The court didn't care. They garnished his wages. Every month, $800 appeared in my account. Blood money. Guilt money. I used every cent for Maya. For food, diapers, clothes she'd outgrow in weeks. And slowly, month by month, I rebuilt my life. Maya was 6 months old when I landed my first real client. A A small business that needed a website redesign. I charged almost nothing because I needed the portfolio piece. But I did good work. Great work. They referred me to another client. Then another. By the time Maya was a year old, I had steady freelance work. Not a lot of money, but enough to move us out of the studio and into a real one-bedroom apartment. By the time she was 2, I had a reputation. People knew my name in the local business community. I was reliable, talented, affordable. I raised my rates. I hired a part-time babysitter, a college girl named Sophie who was patient and kind with Maya. I worked during nap time, after bedtime, every spare moment. I was exhausted constantly, but I was building something. Something that was mine. Maya was 3 when I started my own design agency. Just me working from home. But it was official. A real business with a website and business cards and everything. I called it Phoenix Design Studios. Because I'd risen from the ashes of my old life. Linda loved the name. She'd become like a grandmother to Maya. She'd retired from the diner and spent her days volunteering and spoiling my daughter. "You did it, honey," she said. "You really did it." But I wasn't done. Not even close. Maya was 4 when I hired my first employee. A young designer fresh out of college who reminded me of myself at that age. Eager, talented, hungry. Maya was 5 when we moved into a real house. Small 2 bedrooms, but it was ours. Mine and Maya's. A home. I painted her room purple because it was her favorite color. Set up a reading nook because she loved books. Made sure she had everything she needed. She was happy. Bright, curious, funny. She asked questions constantly, made up elaborate stories, drew pictures that covered our refrigerator. She was perfect. And she asked about her father sometimes. Not often, but sometimes. "Why doesn't Daddy live with us?" "Because some families look different, baby. And that's okay. We have each other." "Does Daddy love me?" That question broke my heart every time. "I love you enough for 2 parents," I'd say. "You are the most loved little girl in the world." And I made sure she knew it. Every single day. I heard things about Weston over the years. Through mutual acquaintances I'd never quite cut ties with. Through his LinkedIn profile I checked sometimes even though I knew I shouldn't. His life had gotten complicated. Melissa gave birth to a son. Weston Jr. They called him MJ. But the marriage didn't last. They divorced when MJ was 2. Bitter, ugly divorce. She claimed he'd cheated. He claimed she was unstable. The truth was probably both. Weston's career plateaued. He'd been on track for VP at his firm but never quite got there. Kept getting passed over. Office politics, people said. Bad decisions. He remarried. Wife number 3. A woman named Deborah. He was a lawyer. Tough, ambitious. They seemed like a better match. They had a daughter together. Emily. So Weston had 3 children now. MJ, Emily and Maya. Though he only acknowledged 2 of them. He paid child support for Maya. Every month like clockwork now that the courts had forced his hand. But he never asked to see her. Never called. Never sent a birthday card. Maya was 8 when she asked directly, "Why doesn't Daddy want to meet me?" We were sitting at the kitchen table. She was drawing, her tongue poking out in concentration the way it did when she focused. I put down my coffee. "What makes you think that?" "Jenny at school says her dad picks her up every other weekend. And Tyler says his dad takes him to baseball games. But my dad doesn't do anything with me." My heart broke. "Your dad is complicated," I said. "He made choices a long time ago that he can't take back. And those choices mean he doesn't get to know you. Which is his loss, Maya. Because you're the most amazing person I know." "Do you think he thinks about me?" I didn't know how to answer that. Truthfully, I doubted it. Weston was good at compartmentalizing, at pretending things didn't exist if they were inconvenient. "I think," I said carefully, "that one day when you're older if you want to reach out to him you can make that choice. But right now your job is just to be a kid. To be happy. To know you're loved." "Okay." She nodded. Went back to her drawing. But I saw the sadness in her eyes. The confusion. And I hated Weston all over again. Not for leaving me. I'd gotten over that. But for abandoning this perfect, beautiful child who'd done nothing wrong except be born. Maya was 10 when my business really took off. I landed a major client. A regional restaurant chain that needed a complete digital overhaul. Website, app, social media management, the works. It was 6 figures. My biggest contract ever. I hired more staff. Moved into an actual office space. Phoenix Design Studios became a real company. I was profiled in a local business magazine. Single mom builds design empire, the headline read. It was embarrassing but also kind of amazing. Maya was proud. She brought the magazine to school for show and tell. Told everyone her mom was famous. I wasn't famous, but I was successful. And more importantly, I was happy. I'd dated a little over the years. Nothing serious. A few nice men who didn't work out for one reason or another. I was okay with that. My life was full. Maya and my work and my little found family. Linda, Sophie who still babysat sometimes, my employees who'd become friends. I didn't need a man to complete me. I'd learned that lesson the hard way. Maya was 11 when Weston's parents reached out. Brenda called me. After 11 years of silence she called. Natalie, she said. It's Brenda Thorne. I almost hung up. But curiosity kept me on the line. I'm calling because I owe you an apology. Silence. I was wrong, she continued. About everything. About you. About Maya. Weston told us things and we believed him without question. We should have listened to your side. We failed. Why are you telling me this now? My voice was cold. I'd learned to be cold where the Thorns were concerned. Because Weston's life is falling apart. His second marriage is ending. He's struggling. And I've been thinking about the choices we made. The grandchild we refused to acknowledge. Maya's not a grandchild to you, I said. You made that clear 11 years ago. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I'd like to meet her. If you'd allow it. I laughed. Couldn't help it. You're 11 years too late. Please, Natalie. I'm an old woman now. Robert passed away last year. Heart attack. I'm alone. And I've been thinking about family. About regrets. I'm sorry about Robert, I said. And I meant it. He'd been cruel but I didn't wish death on him. But Maya has a family. He has me. He has people who've loved her from the start. She doesn't need grandparents who show up only when it's convenient. I understand, Brenda said softly. I wanted you to know I was wrong. And I'm sorry. She hung up. I stared at the phone for a long time after. Then I deleted her number and moved on. Maya was 12 when Weston came back. I was at the office in a meeting when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I usually didn't answer those but something made me pick up. Natalie. His voice. After all these years I recognized it immediately. My blood went cold. What do you want? I need to see you. To talk. We have nothing to talk about. Please. It's important. It's about Maya. My grip tightened on the phone. What about her? I want to meet her. To be in her life. A decade of anger rose in my throat. Now you want to meet her? Now after 12 years of nothing. Things have changed. I've changed. I know I made mistakes. Mistakes. I was shaking. You called her a mistake before she was even born. You denied she was yours. You abandoned us both. That's not a mistake, Weston. That's a choice. I know. I don't deserve anything from you. But she deserves to know her father. She has known her father. Her father is an $800 check that shows up every month and nothing else. Natalie, please. Just let me explain. I hung up. He called back immediately. I blocked the number. He showed up at my office 2 days later. My receptionist, Kelly, buzzed me. There's a man here to see you. Says his name is Weston Thorne. Says it's personal. I took a deep breath. Send him away. He says he'll wait. He says he'll wait all day if he has to. I looked at my schedule. I had 3 meetings, a conference call and a deadline. I didn't have time for this. But I also knew Weston. He was stubborn. If I didn't deal with this now, he'd keep coming back. Fine. Send him in. But Kelly, if I buzz you, come in immediately. Understood. Understood. Weston walked in a minute later. He'd aged. Not badly, but he'd aged. Gray at his temples. Lines around his eyes. He'd put on weight. He looked tired. Good. Natalie, he said. Thank you for seeing me. I didn't stand. Didn't offer my hand. Just looked at him coldly from behind my desk. You have 5 minutes. He sat across from me. Fidgeted with his wedding ring. 3rd wife's ring, I guessed. I know I don't have any right to ask you for anything, he started. You're right. You don't. But I'm asking anyway. I want to meet Maya. I want to be her father. Why? The question seemed to surprise him. Because she's my daughter. She's been your daughter for 12 years. Why now? He looked down. Because my life is a mess. My marriage is ending. My son barely speaks to me. My daughter from my second marriage. Deborah turned her against me. I'm alone. And I've been thinking about the choices I made. About Maya. About you. So this is about you, I said. About what you need. Not about her. No. It's about her too. Every child deserves a father. She had a father. And you chose to abandon her. You don't get to come back now because your other children don't want you and pretend you're doing her a favor. I made mistakes. Stop calling them mistakes. I stood up. Couldn't sit anymore. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. A mistake is missing an appointment. What you did was deliberate. You accused me of cheating. You questioned her paternity even after the DNA test. You painted me as a liar and a whore to your parents, to your friends. You destroyed my reputation. You left me with nothing. I know. I know I did terrible things. But people change, Natalie. I'm not that person anymore. Prove it. He blinked. What? Prove you've changed. Prove this isn't just about you feeling sorry for yourself. How? I sat back down. Looked at him with all the coldness I'd cultivated over the years. You want to meet Maya? Fine. But she's 12 years old. He's smart. She asks questions. So first you're going to write her a letter. A real letter, handwritten, explaining everything. Why you left. Why you denied her. Why you stayed away. Be honest. Completely honest. And then if she decides she wants to meet you, we'll talk. She's 12. She won't understand. She'll understand that her father abandoned her. She already knows that. What she doesn't know is why. So you're going to tell her. And then she'll decide if you're worth her time. He looked stunned. Like he'd expected me to just hand her over. And Weston. I leaned forward. If you hurt her. If you disappoint her. If you make her feel even for a second like she's not good enough or wanted, I will destroy you. I'm not the broke, desperate woman you left. I have resources now. I have connections. And I will make your life a living hell. Are we clear? He swallowed hard. Nodded. Write the letter. Drop it off with Kelly. Don't come back unless I invite you. He stood slowly. Walked to the door. Then paused. I really am sorry, Natalie. For what it's worth. It's worth nothing, I said. But maybe it'll be worth something to Maya. That's up to her. He left. I sat there shaking for 10 minutes after he was gone. Then I called Linda. He's back, I said. Oh honey. What are you going to do? I don't know. But whatever happens, it's going to be on Maya's terms. Not his. The letter came 3 days later. Thick envelope, my name on the front in Weston's handwriting. I didn't open it immediately. Just stared at it for hours. Finally, after Maya went to bed, I opened it. It was 12 pages. Handwritten. His handwriting was messy, like he'd written it in a hurry or while emotional. I read it start to finish. Dear Maya. I don't know how to start this letter. I've tried writing it 20 times. Every version sounds wrong, inadequate. But your mother said I need to be honest, so I'm going to try. When your mother told me she was pregnant with you, I panicked. I said terrible things. Things I regret every day. I told her I didn't want you. I questioned if you were mine. I called you names before you were even born. I was a coward. I was having an affair. I'd been cheating on your mother for months with a colleague named Melissa. And when your mother told me she was pregnant, all I could think about was how it would ruin my plans. Melissa was pregnant too. I'd been planning to leave your mother for her. And your existence complicated everything. So I lied. I told my parents your mother had trapped me. I told them she was cold and distant. I told them you probably weren't even mine. None of it was true. Your mother was a good wife. She'd done nothing wrong. But I needed someone to blame, and she was an easy target. I left her with nothing. She had no job, no money, no support. I took everything. The house, our savings, everything. And I justified it by telling myself she'd brought it on herself. Then you were born and the DNA test proved you were mine, and I had to face the truth. But I was married to Melissa by then. We had a son. I'd built a new life. And you didn't fit into that life. So I pretended you didn't exist. I paid child support because the court made me. But I never asked to see you. Never called. Never even thought about you, really. It was easier that way. My marriage to Melissa fell apart. Turns out relationships built on lies don't last. We divorced. It was ugly. My son barely knows me now. I remarried. Had another daughter. That marriage is ending too. My wife says I'm selfish, that I only think about myself. He's right. And now I'm alone. And I'm looking at my life, at the bridges I've burned, at the people I've hurt, and I'm realizing I destroyed everything good I ever had. Including you. You're my daughter. You always have been. And I threw you away like you were nothing. Like you didn't matter. You do matter. You matter so much. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know I don't deserve a place in your life. But I'm asking anyway. Not because I've earned it, but because I want to try. I want to know you. I want to be your father. If you say no, I'll understand. I'll deserve it. But if you give me a chance, I promise I'll do better. I'm so sorry, Maya. For everything. Your father, Weston. I read it 3 times. It was honest. Brutally honest. He'd admitted everything. His affair. His lies. His abandonment. He didn't try to sugarcoat it or make excuses. But was it enough? I didn't know. That wasn't my decision to make. The next morning I sat Maya down. I need to talk to you about something important, I said. She looked up from her cereal. Okay. Your father reached out. He wants to meet you. Her spoon froze halfway to her mouth. Really? Yes. But before you decide if you want to meet him, he wrote you a letter. It explains everything. Why he left. Why he stayed away. It's honest, but it might be hard to read. Can I read it? I handed her the envelope. Take your time. Read it in your room. And when you're done, we'll talk about what you want to do. This is your choice, Maya. Not mine. Not his. Yours. She took the letter and disappeared into her room. I waited. An hour later she came out. Her eyes were red. Mom. Her voice was small. I pulled her into a hug. She cried into my shoulder. He really didn't want me, she said. He made terrible choices. But that's about him, not you. You're wanted. By me. By Linda. By everyone who knows you. But not by him. Not then. But people can change. The question is, do you believe he has? Do you want to give him a chance? She pulled back. Wiped her eyes. I don't know. Can I think about it? Of course. Take as much time as you need. She thought about it for 2 weeks. Finally she came to me. I want to meet him. But I'm scared. That's okay. Being scared is normal. And I'll be right there with you the whole time if you want. I want that. Hey. I'll set it up. We met at a park. Neutral ground. Public. Maya held my hand so tight I lost circulation. She dressed carefully. Her favorite purple dress. Her hair in braids. He wanted to make a good impression. It broke my heart. Weston was already there, sitting on a bench. He stood when he saw us. Maya, he said. His voice cracked. Hi, she said quietly. We walked over. I stayed close to her, protective. Weston looked nervous. More nervous than I'd ever seen him. His hands shook. Thank you for agreeing to meet me, he said. I know I don't deserve it. Maya didn't say anything. Just kept looking at him with those serious dark eyes. Do you want to sit? I asked. We sat. Weston on one bench, Maya and me on another facing him. About 6 feet between us. Felt like miles. I read your letter, Maya said finally. And it made me sad. And angry. But also, I don't know. Confused, I guess. Weston nodded. That's fair. You have every right to be angry. Why did you leave us? The question came out small. Hurt. Because I was selfish. Because I was a coward. Because I put what I wanted ahead of everything else. Did you ever think about me? Even once. The question hit him like a physical blow. I watched his face crumble. Yes, he said. Not as often as I should have. But yes. Sometimes I'd see a girl your age and wonder what you looked like. What you were like. If you had my nose or your mother's eyes. I have your nose, Maya said. She did. Same straight nose, same shape. You're beautiful, Weston said. His voice broke. You're so beautiful. And I missed everything. Your first steps. Your first words. 12 years of your life. I can never get that back. No, Maya agreed. You can't. I know. I know I failed you. But I'm here now. And if you give me a chance, I want to do better. I want to be your father. Maya looked at me. I squeezed her hand. It's your choice, baby, I said softly. She looked back at Weston. If we do this, you have to promise me something. Anything. You have to keep your promises. If you say you're going to call, you call. If you say you're going to visit, you visit. Because I've spent my whole life without a dad. And I'm okay. I have mom. I have people who love me. But if you come into my life and then leave again, that will hurt worse than never knowing you at all. Weston wiped his eyes. I promise. I swear to you, Maya. I will show up. I will be there. Okay, she said. We can try. They talked for an hour. Careful, awkward conversation. Weston asked about school, her friends, her interests. Maya answered, still guarded but warming up slowly. I watched it all, silent. Watching this man I'd once loved try to build a relationship with the daughter he'd abandoned. It felt surreal. When we left, Weston asked, Can I call you? Maybe we could do this again. Maya nodded. Okay. In the car, Maya was quiet. How do you feel? I asked. I don't know. Weird. He seems sad. He is sad. He's realizing what he lost. Do you think he means it? About being there? I don't know, baby. Time will tell. Weston called the next day. Asked if he could take Maya to lunch on Saturday. Maya agreed. Saturday came. He picked her up on time. Brought her back when he said he would. She said they'd had fun. Went to a pizza place. Booked more. He called again on Tuesday. They talked for 30 minutes about school. He asked to see her again the following weekend. A movie this time. Again he showed up when he said he would. Again Maya came home happy. He's trying, she told me. He's really trying, Mom. I wanted to believe it. For her sake, I wanted to believe it. Week 3, he invited her to dinner at his apartment. Asked if I'd be comfortable with that. I wasn't. But Maya wanted to go. I'll pick her up at 8, I said. Not a minute later. Of course. She went. Came home excited. He made pasta. And he has pictures of his other kids. He showed me. I have a brother and a sister, Mom. Half siblings. How do you feel about that? Good, I think. It's weird but good. Week 4, Weston asked if Maya could meet her brother and sister. I don't know if that's a good idea, I said. Please, Natalie. They're her siblings. They should know each other. Does their mother know? I've talked to both Melissa and Deborah. They're reluctant. But they've agreed. Against my better judgment, I said yes. The meeting was awkward. MJ was 13, sullen and angry at the world. Emily was 7, shy and confused. But by the end of the afternoon they were playing together. Maya was good with kids. Patient. Kind. Weston watched them with this expression I couldn't quite read. Pride? Regret? Both. For 2 months it worked. Weston called regularly. Visited every week. Took Maya to movies, museums, parks. He was present. Reliable. Maya started calling him Dad. I watched from the sidelines, cautiously optimistic. Maybe people really could change. Maybe he meant it this time. Then month 3 hit. He canceled a visit. Work emergency, he said. Then canceled another. His daughter Emily was sick. Then another. He didn't give a reason that time. The calls became less frequent. Every other day, then twice a week, then once a week. Maya noticed. Is Dad okay? He seems busy. I'm sure he's just stressed with work, I said. But I knew. I knew the pattern. Week 12 he didn't call at all. Maya tried calling him. It went to voicemail. She tried again. Voicemail. He texted. No response. Mom, did I do something wrong? Her voice was breaking. No, baby. You did nothing wrong. Then why isn't he answering? I didn't have an answer. Or rather, I did, but I couldn't say it. Because he's exactly who I told you he was. A man who makes promises he can't keep. I tried calling him myself. He answered on the 3rd ring. Natalie. Where have you been? Maya's been trying to reach you for a week. I know. I've been meaning to call her back. Things have been crazy. Too crazy to send a text? Too crazy to call your daughter for 5 minutes. Silence. Weston, you promised her. You swore you wouldn't do this. I'm not doing anything. I'm just busy. You're pulling away. Just like before. That's not fair. I've been there for 3 months. I've spent time with her. I've tried. Tried? You don't get credit for trying, Weston. You get credit for showing up. Consistently. That's what being a parent is. I am showing up. When it's convenient for you. When it doesn't interfere with your life. But the second things get hard, you disappear. You're doing it again. I am not abandoning her. Then prove it. Call her. Today. Make plans. Keep them. He hung up. He did call Maya that night. A 5-minute conversation. Apologized for being busy. Promised they'd do something next weekend. Next weekend came. He canceled. Another work thing. Maya cried herself to sleep. It continued for another month. Sporadic calls. Broken promises. Excuses. Maya stopped talking about him. Stopped bringing him up. When he did call, she answered, but the conversations were short. Strained. I don't think he wants me anymore, she said one night. We were sitting on the couch. I was braiding her hair before bed. He wants you. He's just complicated. You always say that. Complicated. But it's not complicated, Mom. Either he wants to be my dad or he doesn't. And he doesn't. Maya. It's okay. I'm used to it. I had 12 years without him. I can do it again. The resignation in her voice broke me. That night after she went to bed, I called Weston. We need to talk, I said. Natalie, it's 10 at night. I don't care. You're breaking her heart. Again. I'm not. Yes, you are. You came back. You made promises. You made her believe you'd changed. And now you're doing exactly what you did 12 years ago. You're abandoning her. I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm just busy. My life is falling apart, Natalie. My divorce is getting ugly. Deborah's trying to take Emily away from me. Work is a nightmare. I'm drowning here. And you think Maya cares about your excuses? You think it matters to her that you're busy? All she knows is that her father promised to be there and isn't. What do you want me to do? I want you to either commit or walk away. Stop stringing her along. Stop giving her hope and then crushing it. If you can't be consistent, if you can't prioritize her, then end it. Finally. Let her move on. You want me to abandon her? I want you to stop hurting her. Silence. Weston, here's the truth. She was fine before you came back. She had a good life. She was happy. And then you showed up and made her want something she'd learned to live without. You made her want a father. And now you're teaching her that she's not worth showing up for. Do you understand how damaging that is? I never meant to hurt her. But you are. So make a choice. Be her father, really be her father, or let her go. But don't do this in-between thing. Don't be sometimes there and sometimes gone. Kids need consistency. They need reliability. And if you can't give her that, then you need to leave. You're asking me to choose between her and my other responsibilities. I'm asking you to make her a priority. The way you should have from the beginning. He didn't respond. Call me when you've made a decision, I said. Until then, stop contacting her. Stop giving her false hope. I hung up. He didn't call. Not the next day. Not the next week. Maya noticed, of course. But she didn't ask. Just retreated into herself. 2 weeks later, a letter came. For Maya. She read it in her room. Came out an hour later. He says he can't do this right now. That his life is too complicated. That he loves me, but he needs to work on himself before he can be a good father. She said it flatly. No emotion. How do you feel? I asked. He shrugged. Like I knew it would happen. Like everyone was right. He didn't really want me. He just felt guilty. Oh, baby. It's okay, Mom. Really. I'm fine. But she wasn't fine. She stopped smiling as much. Stopped talking about the future. Became quieter, more withdrawn. She'd been hurt. By the same man who'd hurt her before she was even born. And I'd let it happen. The next 6 months were hard. Maya threw herself into school. Straight A's. Perfect attendance. But there was no joy in it. She was just going through the motions. Her 13th birthday came and went. Weston didn't call. Didn't send a card. Nothing. He pretended not to care. I took her to therapy. A kind woman named Dr. Sarah who specialized in kids dealing with abandonment issues. Slowly, Maya started processing what had happened. Started understanding that her father's failures weren't her fault. Some people aren't capable of being what we need them to be, Dr. Sarah told her. And that's painful. But it doesn't say anything about your worth. It says everything about their limitations. Maya nodded. Tried to believe it. Meanwhile, I heard through the grapevine that Weston's life was indeed falling apart. His divorce from Deborah was finalized. Ugly custody battle. He got every other weekend with Emily. Melissa had moved across the country with MJ. Weston rarely saw him now. He'd been demoted at work. Lost a major client. His reputation in the industry was suffering. His mother Brenda called me again. "Natalie, I'm worried about Weston." "I can't help you," I said. "He's depressed. Drinking too much. I think he's having some kind of breakdown." "He made his choices." I know he did. But he's still my son. And he's realizing what he lost. All of it. His children. His career. Everything. Then maybe he'll learn something from it. Please, Natalie. Talk to him. He listens to you. He doesn't listen to anyone. Least of all me. For Maya's sake. Don't you dare, I said quietly. Don't you dare use my daughter as leverage. Weston hurt her. Twice. I will not let him do it again. I'm just asking you to have compassion. I have plenty of compassion. For Maya. For the little girl whose father keeps breaking her heart. I have no compassion left for Weston. He burned through that years ago. I hung up. But Brenda's call planted a seed. Not of sympathy. But of something else. An idea. Maya turned 14. He was doing better. Not great but better. Therapy was helping. She'd made new friends. Joined the art club at school. She was finding herself again. And I was thriving. Phoenix Design Studios had grown. 20 employees now. Major clients. I'd been featured in national business magazines. I'd even been invited to speak at conferences about building a business as a single parent. My life was good. Successful. But there was still this wound. This anger. Not for me. I'd healed from Weston. I'd moved on. But for Maya. For what he'd done to her. He'd come back into her life, made her hope, made her believe he'd changed, and then abandoned her all over again. Left her with more trauma than she'd started with. And he'd faced no real consequences. Sure, his life was a mess. But that was his own doing, not justice for what he'd done to us. I wanted justice. I wanted him to understand, really understand what he'd taken from Maya. From me. I wanted him to feel what we'd felt. So I started planning. Not revenge. Not exactly. Something more elegant than that. I started with research. I knew Weston's professional life was struggling. But I didn't know details. I reached out to some contacts in his industry. People I'd met through my business. People who knew people. What I learned was fascinating. Weston had alienated most of his colleagues. He'd burned bridges by being unreliable. He'd lost clients by making promises he couldn't keep. He'd developed a reputation as someone who looked good on paper but couldn't deliver. Sound familiar? His firm was losing patience with him. He was on thin ice. One more major screw-up and he'd be out. I filed that information away. Next, I looked into his personal life. The divorce from Deborah had left him financially strained. He'd had to sell his house. Was renting now. A nice place but still renting. Child support for 3 kids, even though he barely saw 2 of them. Alimony to Deborah. Debt from legal fees. He was living paycheck to paycheck. One emergency away from serious financial trouble. I filed that away too. Then I waited. Because revenge isn't about acting impulsively. It's about patience. About waiting for exactly the right moment. That moment came 8 months later. Weston's firm landed a huge client. Tech startup looking to rebrand completely. Website, app, marketing materials, everything. The kind of client that could save the firm's struggling bottom line. And Weston was assigned to lead the project. His last chance to prove himself. I knew about it because the tech startup CEO was someone I'd met at a conference 6 months earlier. We'd stayed in touch. Professional networking. When he mentioned in an email that his company was working with Weston Thorne's firm, I nearly laughed out loud. The universe was handing me an opportunity. I thought about it for days. Weighed the ethics. Questioned my motives. But I kept coming back to Maya. To the look on her face when Weston stopped calling. To the therapy sessions. To the trust issues she'd developed. Weston had never faced real consequences for what he'd done. Not to me. Not to Maya. Maybe it was time he did. I reached out to the CEO. Casual email. Congratulations on the rebrand. If you ever need a second opinion or run into any issues, I'm happy to help. Professional courtesy. Nothing more. He thanked me. Said he'd keep it in mind. Then I waited. 3 weeks into the project, the CEO emailed me. Natalie, I hate to impose, but I'm having concerns about our current design firm. The lead on our project seems distracted. Missing deadlines. The work isn't bad, but it's not what we were promised. Do you have time for a call? I smiled. Of course, I replied. Happy to chat. We spoke that afternoon. He explained his concerns. Weston had missed 2 deadlines. The designs were generic. Nothing innovative. Nothing worth the premium his firm was charging. I'm wondering if we should cut our losses and look elsewhere, he said. That's a big decision, I said. But if you're not happy with the work, you deserve better. Your rebrand is too important to settle. Would Phoenix Design Studios be interested in taking it on? We might be. Can I see what they've done so far? He sent me the files. I reviewed them. Weston's work was lazy. Templated. The kind of thing a junior designer could do. Nothing creative. Nothing special. Not the Weston I'd known years ago. He'd been talented once. But apparently he'd lost that somewhere along the way. Lost his drive. His passion. Lost everything that made him good. I prepared a proposal. Put my best designers on it. We created mock-ups showing what we'd do differently. Innovative. Bold. Exactly what a tech startup needed. I sent it over. 2 days later the CEO called. We want to move forward with Phoenix. Can you take over immediately? Absolutely. What about Thorne's firm? They're going to be upset. That's not my concern. Or yours. You hired them to do a job. They're not delivering. You have every right to find someone who will. You're right. I'll contact them today. He did. Weston's firm lost the contract. And because it was such a high-profile client, because Weston had been given one last chance and failed, the firm let him go. I heard about it through the grapevine 2 days later. Weston Thorne had been fired. Losing his job destroyed Weston. I didn't hear this directly from him. He didn't call. Didn't reach out. But Brenda did. She called me crying. Natalie, Weston lost his job. He's spiraling. I'm so worried about him. I'm sorry to hear that, I said. And I meant it. Sort of. I didn't want him to suffer. I just wanted him to understand. He's asking about Maya. He wants to see her. No. Please, Natalie. He's at rock bottom. Maybe seeing her would help. Help him. Brenda, with all due respect, this isn't about helping Weston. This is about protecting Maya. He abandoned her twice. I will not give him a 3rd chance to break her heart. But he's family. He stopped being family when he walked away. And he stayed not family when he came back and left again. Maya's doing well now. She's happy. I won't risk that for his benefit. Brenda was quiet for a moment. I think you cost him his job. My blood went cold. Excuse me. That tech startup. The one that left his firm for yours. That was you, wasn't it? I could have denied it. Should have maybe. But I didn't. I didn't cost him anything, I said carefully. His firm wasn't delivering good work. The client came to me looking for better options. I provided them. That's business. You sabotaged him. I did no such thing. Weston sabotaged himself by doing mediocre work. Just like he sabotaged his marriages by being unfaithful. Just like he sabotaged his relationship with his children by being unreliable. I didn't make him fail, Brenda. He did that all on his own. You're heartless. No. I'm a mother protecting her child. There's a difference. She hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, feeling, what? Guilt? No. Satisfaction? Maybe a little. But mostly I felt tired. This wasn't fun. It wasn't enjoyable. It was just necessary. Weston needed to understand that actions have consequences. That you can't hurt people without eventually paying a price. And if I'd helped accelerate that lesson, so be it. 2 weeks after Weston lost his job, he showed up at my office. Security called me. Miss Carter, there's a man here demanding to see you. Says his name is Weston Thorne. He's agitated. Is he threatening? Not yet. But he's loud. I thought about having security remove him. I was curious. Send him up. But have someone stand by the door. Weston walked into my office looking like hell. Unshaven. wrinkled clothes, dark circles under his eyes. You destroyed me, he said. I stood up, stayed behind my desk. Security guard visible just outside the door. I did no such thing. That client. You stole them from me. You cost me my job. I provided better service than your firm. That's capitalism, Weston. Not sabotage. Don't play innocent. You knew exactly what you were doing. You're right. I did. I knew I was offering a client superior work. Work your firm wasn't providing. Work you weren't providing. Because of you. Because of you. I shot back. You missed deadlines. You delivered mediocre designs. You failed. Not because of me. Because you're not as good as you used to be. Because you're distracted and depressed and you've lost your edge. He stared at me. You're enjoying this. I'm not. Believe it or not, I don't take pleasure in your suffering. Then why? Why would you do this to me? I walked around the desk, stood facing him. Because you hurt my daughter. Twice. You abandoned her before she was born. Then you came back, made her hope, made her believe you'd changed and abandoned her again. Do you have any idea what that did to her? I tried. You tried when it was convenient. When it made you feel better about yourself. But the second it got hard, you bailed. Just like you always do. My life was falling apart. So was mine. 12 years ago when you left me pregnant and alone, my life was falling apart. But I didn't abandon my child. I showed up. Every single day. For 12 years. That's what parents do. I'm not you. No, you're not. You're someone who makes promises you can't keep. Who hurts people and faces no consequences. Well, now you're facing them. Is that what this is? Revenge. I looked at him for a long moment. No, I said finally. This is justice. Justice. You hurt my child. So yes, when I had an opportunity to hurt you professionally, I took it. Not because I'm cruel. But because you needed to understand that your actions matter. That you can't just walk through life destroying people without eventually paying a price. I've paid. I've lost everything. Good. So have we. So did Maya when you abandoned her. So did I when you destroyed my reputation and took everything I had. We rebuilt. From nothing. So can you. You're heartless. I'm a mother. There's nothing I wouldn't do to protect my child. Including making sure the man who hurt her understands that he can't do it again. Weston sank into a chair. Put his head in his hands. I just wanted to see her, he said quietly. I wanted to make it right. It's too late for that. It can't be too late. It is. You had your chance. Multiple chances. You wasted them. Please, Natalie. Let me see her. One more time. Let me explain. Let me apologize. No. She's my daughter. She's my daughter. My voice echoed in the office. You gave up the right to call her yours when you left. You're a sperm donor who pays child support. That's all. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. You taught me that. He looked up at me. His eyes were red. I'm sorry. For everything. For leaving you. For denying Maya. For coming back and leaving again. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're sorry. Your apologies mean nothing. They're just words you say to make yourself feel better. Then what do you want from me? I want you to leave us alone. To move on with your life. To stop trying to force your way into Maya's world when you've proven over and over that you don't deserve to be there. I love her. You love the idea of her. You love the image of being a good father. But when it comes to actually doing the work, to showing up consistently, to putting her needs ahead of yours, you fail. Every time. He stood up slowly. You win, Natalie. You got your revenge. I hope it makes you happy. It doesn't. That's what you don't understand. This doesn't make me happy. None of this does. What would make me happy is if you'd been the father Maya deserved from the beginning. But you weren't. And now she's better off without you. He walked to the door. Paused. Tell her I'm sorry. If you won't let me tell her, at least tell her that. No. Because your apology isn't for her. It's for you. And she deserves better than that. He left. I sat back down at my desk and let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. It was done.